Nightbeat starts right now.
A gambling bust in San Antonio may have helped investigators in another case. What a church pastor is now revealing in this investigation, coming up. And smoke billowing into the air as an apartment complex catches fire. The quick response from one woman determined to help her neighbors. Plus, a Texas teen that was trafficked is the story that's been trending on KSAT.com. Tonight, what parents need to know to protect children from predators. But first, we'll start tonight with breaking news. Firefighters responding to 2 fires tonight amid this hot weather that we're experiencing. The first one involved an apartment on the west side. The other happened on the city's north side, where several homes were damaged. And that's where we begin tonight. The night team's John Paul Barajas is joining us from Chipping Drive. That's near Montgomery Drive and New World Drive. John Paul, tell us about the fire there.
Well, Stephanie, to start things off, those hot temperatures actually played a role in a firefighter here overheating. Luckily, he was treated quickly and he's actually back working right now. But because of those hot temperatures, crews have to respond bigger to these types of fires. Now, at this fire here, there's 36 firefighters between Universal City, Windcrest, JBSA, and 2 different Bexar County stations. They tell me that 3 homes here were completely damaged. Now, you're looking at these 2 front homes. Those are total losses, but crews tell me there's firewalls on both sides of those, so that's why it didn't spread too much further. The 3rd home that received damage was only from crews picking into the attic, checking if the fire had spread. It did not. Now, at the home where the fire started, which is this one over here to the left with the windows open, they said nobody was inside at the time of that fire. 4 other people in the area were checked for smoke inhalation, but they are okay. The cause of this fire is still being investigated. They called it suspicious. They said one person who lives in this home was found up the street with a family friend, I believe her daughter or her sister. Another person who was at this lives at this residence has not been located or talked to yet. But again, no injuries to people. That one firefighter did overheat. He is okay. He's actually working again. 4 people checked for smoke inhalation. They're all okay. Right now, just these 3 homes that received damages, 2 of them total losses. We'll continue following this and bring you the latest. John Paul Barajas, KSAT, 12 News.
John Paul, thank you. And now to another fire tonight that had firefighters facing fierce flames with this hot weather that we had all day. That one started at an apartment complex on Border Brook, which is on the city's west side. It's near Timber Hill and Wurzbach Road. One woman says that when she saw that smoke, she was banging on her neighbors' doors, trying to get them out safely.
I called 911 and I'm knocking on people's doors, like, hey, y'all got to get out because it's a fire. Then it was kids in the apartment building.
Yeah, it must have been scary. And those kids that she just talked about were able to get out safely. No injuries were reported, but we know that people across 3 of those units are displaced tonight. Firefighters believe that the fire most likely started because of electrical issues. So now we're going to bring in our meteorologist, Adam Caskey. Adam, we know the heat played a role in tonight's fires. It was a very hot day, always makes it difficult for firefighters as they try to do their jobs. So let's talk about whether there are any changes on the horizon here.
Temperature-wise, not really, actually. Today was another day where we hit 96. Yesterday was 96. Today was 96 degrees. The average high is 10 degrees lower than that. But we were far from record territory, that being 101. You look at the temperature trend for the next several days, and I actually think we're going to add on a few degrees as we go forward here. Still 96 tomorrow, Saturday 97, Sunday 98, and by Monday, about 100 degrees. That's our forecast. But there is the chance of a few storms in a particular part of our area tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. I'll show you the future cast. And then also the newest Drought Monitor is in. I'll share that with you in just a bit.
All right, thank you. Now, new on the Nightbeat, a man was shot while taking food to his girlfriend this evening. Police say it happened on Rosewood Avenue near San Pedro and Hildebrand. An off-duty officer working security at a nearby H-E-B heard about the shooting and found the victim. Police say the man was shot 3 times, and tonight he is in the hospital. New details surrounding that gambling bust that we told you about last night. Yesterday, if you remember, police say they found an illegal gambling operation at a home on the southeast side. Here's the thing, though. One of the things that they found in that home may be linked to a theft at a church in Cibolo. The night team's John Paul Barajas spoke with that church's pastor.
New pictures show it was more than just 8 liners found at a gambling bust on East-South Cross Wednesday. Officers say this stolen trailer was on the property. The same trailer Pastor Taryn Phillips says was taken from his church over in Cibolo. Phillips says a church member got a call from an officer at the scene.
He actually noticed that trailer and asked him to run the tags on it, and sure enough, it came back to us. So he immediately turned around and called his dad, who is our sound guy at our church.
The black trailer is one of 2 that was stolen back on April 25th from wood storage in Cibolo. According to Cibolo police, both trailers were found by SAPD. The white one, days after the theft, abandoned on the road. SAPD isn't releasing much information on the second trailer due to an active investigation, but Pastor Phillips says both trailers are coming home, unfortunately, without what was stored inside.
Pretty devastating to see that everything that you have for your Sunday worship, your sound, your lights, your children's area stuff, everything gone. But at the same time, it's just stuff.
Along with the missing equipment, the pastor adds the trailers also have damage to the locks and brackets, but they're staying optimistic, saying worship isn't about the materialistic things.
The last 2 weeks that we've had church, man, it's been awesome. We've had one speaker for the sound system, and it's been amazing. Our people have sang. It's a sweet spirit about it.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
And now to a problem property that we've been telling you about for months. The Twin Sisters Cantina is now a pile of rubble. Officers say that when it was a business, several shootings took place there, along with liquor and code violations. So this is at the corner of Drexel and Hackberry, which is on the city's east side. The city declared the cantina a nuisance and a hazard. That was back in February. And now the plan is to put that property up for sale.
Whichever business or whoever owns it, I would say they're going to set the tone for the neighborhood.
Today, the attorney for the property owner says the person who ran that bar has been evicted. Now, a mother charged after the death of her 18-month-old son just took a plea deal. Delaney Chides faced 2 counts of tampering with evidence. The child that we're talking about, James Chides, was reported missing before his remains were found near the mobile home where he and his mother lived. As part of this plea deal, prosecutors waived 1 count of tampering with evidence, and in exchange, Chides pled no contest on the 2nd count. One person, however, was not happy with that plea deal, and that person is baby James's aunt, Marisol.
I'm going to fight for justice for him. And if it means I have to be here all the time, and it means I'm going to cry every time, it means I'm going to be disgusted, disturbed, and hurt through it, I'm going to sit there. And she's going to have to see my face whether she likes it or not.
Delaney is going to be sentenced on August 8th, and she could face more charges as this investigation continues. A new contract for San Antonio's police department and the officers union passed, but not everybody was happy about this. 3 council members voted against that deal. Councilwoman Phyllis Villagran suggested that the vote was a vote to defund the police. Some people disagreed, including police reform group Act 4 SA.
In fact, these officers are getting a pay increase, and we didn't even touch that at all. What we're talking about here is accountability, is transparency, is having strong civilian oversight.
Activists say the current review board can provide recommendations, but they're non-binding. The new contract gives a pay increase to officers, but it also makes it more difficult for fired officers to win their jobs back when they appeal. By the way, this contract is going to run through September of 2026. Now for a look at your headlines in your Nightbeat News Flash. 2 people killed after the car they were in ended up overturned in what appears to be a man-made pond. This happened overnight near South New Braunfels Avenue and Research Plaza. Someone passing by saw the wreck, called 911. It's unclear at this point what caused that driver to lose control. Police say the crash is under investigation. One of the victims has been identified as 21-year-old Jaime Perez, and the identity of the other person, who was a woman, has not yet been released. Bexar County has seen 2 new COVID-related deaths this week. It's part of a rising death toll that the U.S. continues to see. Today, the White House said that so far 1 million people have died from COVID since this pandemic began. Federal data shows that on average, more than 300 Americans are still dying of COVID every day. Flags were lowered at half-staff at the Capitol to honor those who have died. The COVID-19 response coordinator wants to gather more information now on the next generation of vaccines. Students trying to help the San Antonio Food Bank by donating a ton of cabbage. It's a lot of cabbage. That donation came from Burbank High School students in the Agricultural Sciences program. They spent part of the morning harvesting all that produce. I told you it was a lot. Burbank students planted 2,500 plants. Their teacher says that they came up with the idea after they went on a trip to Washington, D.C., and they learned about civic duties and the need for food. And look at that. They all came through. That's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash. Now, still ahead on the Nightbeat, an icon in San Antonio being remembered in a very special way tonight, and you could participate. It's coming up. Also, experts now providing tips to parents, and this is coming after a Texas teen was led away from an NBA game and then trafficked. An amazing story, and you're going to hear it next on the Nightbeat. And now here's a story we first told you about last month when a Texas teen was found safe after investigators say that she was trafficked 200 miles away. And now 3 people are facing charges in that case, including 2 women. Police say that she was led away from an NBA game when she went to the bathroom. It's a story that's been trending on KSAT.com. The Night Team's Patty Santos tells us what experts say is being done now to protect kids.
This girl was being sexually assaulted at a hotel room on multiple nights. So any time that she could have been rescued from that sooner would have been better.
The attorney for the Texas family says the teen endured an assault that lasted for 10 days after she was lured out of a Mavericks game and driven to Oklahoma City. Helen Browning with Child Safe is not connected with the case, but has handled trafficking cases in Bexar County. She says most child trafficking is done by someone the victim thinks they know, and it starts online.
And so it's really important that parents are watching what their youth are doing online, because 90% of the trafficking that we have in sex trafficking is starting online.
She says traffickers use TikTok and Amazon wish lists to lure their victims. If your child is ever missing, Browning says be vocal and loud to get everyone's attention.
Because when you start screaming their name out loud, everybody else becomes alerted to start looking around in those situations and looking for that person who's in that characteristic, jeans, white shirt, blue baseball hat, blonde hair, Samantha, and keep going over and over again.
Texas hotel workers are also helping stop trafficking. A new law that took effect January now requires hotels with more than 10 rooms to train staff on the signs of trafficking.
We know this is an unfortunate thing that happens in our hotels, and we don't want to turn a blind eye to it. We want to be part of the solution.
They keep an eye on traffic coming in and out of rooms, certain requests that are made, and if guests avoid making eye contact. Staff are trained and empowered to be a voice for possible victims.
Because we know that it's critical to be able to save just one person, much less, a number of people.
And child safe advocates say it is so important that you monitor your kids' social media accounts and make sure that you have their passwords available during an emergency and come up with a family code word that can be used during an emergency. This is especially important with younger kids. Stephania?
Good advice there, Patty. Now, a special place for someone dear to San Antonio. That's what Mi Tierra is doing for John Esquivel, best known as Hispanic Elvis here in San Antonio. The popular Mexican restaurant has made an altar to remember the longtime singer who warmed the hearts of the community and the tourists of San Antonio.
El Mexican Elvis was part of the heart of San Antonio, part of the heart of the Market Square, so that's why we decided to make this tribute for him.
The restaurant staff says that everything in that tribute represents what Hispanic Elvis was all about. They say that he would always sit in the middle dining room. Anyone and everyone is welcome to go check it out and pay their respects. Yes, we just wrapped up one election, but just a reminder that we're heading into another one soon. Early voting for the 2022 primary runoff election starts Monday. Election day is May 24th, and you can catch up on all of the races in a runoff right now, and that includes the race for Bexar County Judge. It's all online for you on KSAT.com. All right, now we're going to take a live look outside. Here is Sky 12 over the Frost Tower, and I got to say, it looks so pretty at this time with all the lights, 80 degrees right now. Now is the time when you feel like you could sit outside and chill, but it was really hot earlier today, 95, 96 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be the time of day you maybe want to get outside and mow the lawn, right?
Yes.
if you have grass that's actually growing right now with our lack of rain. I did mention earlier we have a chance of storms in a particular part of our area tomorrow afternoon. Let's get right to it. Notice even today, West Texas, parts of Mexico, we had a few thunderstorms flare up, nothing locally. I want to take you right to our feature cast. I think it has a good handle on the situation. We'll start the day tomorrow with some clouds. I think a decent amount of gray across our area. And then by the noon hour, it's off to the races with sunshine. We become very sunny. But in the afternoon, the typical scenario, higher elevations, the mountains of Mexico, parts of West Texas, a few disturbances should cross overhead and just get some showers and storms started up in the afternoon. That's west of our area. But as we get on into the late afternoon and early evening, we're talking 5, 6, 7 p.m. A few of those storms could make it to the Rio Grande, into Valverde County, Kinney County, Maverick County, possibly even as far east as Edwards, Real, Uvalde counties as well. But for the most part, we're going to be dry. And if any of this activity does make it eastward, it's not going to make it to San Antonio, kind of like what we had just the other day. Of course, we'll use any drop of rain we can get. This is the newest drought monitor issued today. Every Thursday it's updated. You go from Leakey to Uvalde, Hondo, Pearsall, Pleasanton. That's where we have the exceptional drought, this darkest color indicating the worst category of drought, according to the drought monitor. East Texas just fine. Dallas, Fort Worth, and especially north of the Metroplex, just fine right now. But you see, good portion of Texas, nearly 80% considered in drought. All right, let's talk temperatures and dew points, actually, the humidity content. 80 degrees right now, dew point of 66. So it feels like it's 2 degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. And you may have noticed earlier today a little drop in that humidity. The mugginess dropped a bit. Dew points fell, as they often do in the afternoon hours this time of year. But they're back up, well into the 60s. Helotes, a dew point of 68. Converse, 67. Southside, Stinson Airport, 70-degree dew point. So we're feeling some mugginess out there, but I think this is going to be a pattern, a similar trend tomorrow. Very humid in the morning and even on through the midday to about 1, 2 p.m. Dew points upper 60s near 70. And then for a few hours in the afternoon during the hottest part of the day, we'll likely have those dew points drop a bit into a category that's not going to be as noticeable. So that's going to mitigate the heat index values a bit during the hottest part of the day. And that should be the case for the next several days. Temps now mostly right around 80 degrees. Port SA 80, Castroville 82, New Braunfels, Bulverde 79 degrees, and Canyon Lake at 80. So tomorrow morning we'll start the day at 70 with mostly cloudy conditions. By the noon hour, already 85, 96 the high temperature, a southeasterly wind at 10 to 15, and a few of those storms near the international border along the Rio Grande possible tomorrow afternoon and evening. Well into the 90s. I mean, even Kerrville 93, Bandera 95 tomorrow, Pleasanton 98 the high temperature. Saturday, we're expecting 97. That would tie the record. Sunday, 98. That would break the record by 2 degrees. Monday, triple digits. That would be a record by 3 degrees. Still looks clear for the total lunar eclipse Sunday night.
Aye, aye, aye. Now let's just talk about stuff that we could do indoors. Let's talk about football. The Cowboys and Texans, we're getting a look at their schedule.
Yeah, they released their full schedule today, and I'm really happy with both of their season openers. When we come back, we'll release those key dates for you. And also, how about the state track and field meet going up in Austin? Our Andrew Celia is up there to see who's bringing home the gold coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys kick off their 2022 NFL season when they play host to 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in prime time on Sunday Night Football, September the 11th. This will be Brady's first game back after he unretired this offseason after just 60 days of hanging up his cleats. Now he's returning for his 23rd season in the NFL. He'll be 45 when he suits up against the Cowboys on that day. This is a rematch of last year's thriller in Tampa that the Bucs won 31-29 when Brady and Dak Prescott combined for 782 yards passing and 7 touchdowns. Here's a look at some key dates for you. It starts with that season opener against Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl champs right there on October the 9th, going back to Green Bay for Mike McCarthy. The Giants on that special Thanksgiving Day game. Philadelphia on Christmas Eve, and Washington wrapping it up on either the 7th or the 8th. After back-to-back 4-win seasons, kicking off their 2022 season with a new head coach and Lovie Smith, the Houston Texans will open their season by hosting the Indianapolis Colts in NRG Stadium on September the 11th at high noon. This will be the third time in franchise history the Texans will open their regular season against the Colts. It goes back-to-back meetings back in 2010 and 11 when Houston actually won both of their home openers against their division rivals. So that date again already set, September the 11th, followed by at Denver against Cleveland, Dallas, a big intrastate rivalry, Kansas City at noon, and wrap it up on Christmas Eve, and against Tennessee at noon. Some of those key dates. NBA Western Conference Championship Finals MVP trophy will be named after Earvin Magic Johnson, the Lakers legend, and the Eastern Conference Championship MVP trophy will be named for Celtics Hall of Famer Larry Bird. Together, Bird and Magic helped revive the NBA starting in 1979. The Western Conference Championship Trophy will be named after Oscar Robertson, who helped lead the Milwaukee Bucks to their first NBA title in 1971. And the Eastern Conference Championship Trophy after Bob Cousy, who won 6 NBA titles with the Boston Celtics. Jimmy Butler and the Heat are 1-1 away from knocking out Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. First quarter, Embiid driving in for a layup, but crashes into the legs of teammate Danny Green, injuring the former Spurs left knee. He had to be carried off the court. We'll get an MRI to determine the extent of that damage. The Heat using a 16-2 run in the third take control. Butler led Miami with 32 as they close out this series in 6, 99-90. High school baseball playoffs and our Andrew Seeley at the Ohio State track and field meet in Austin next. Over at Northside Field, the high school baseball playoffs are in full swing. Class 6A second round between Round Rock Westwood, say that fast 3 times, and the Clark Cougars. Top of the first, the Warriors on the attack with the runners on the corners. Matt Gula hits a slow grounder back to the pitcher. Cody Edwards turns and fires into second for 1 out. Cougars tried to get the double play at home, but the throw is too late. Round Rock takes a 1-0 lead. Top of the third, Warriors have runners on the corners again. Ridge Morgan hits it to Matt Gula for the fielder's choice. Another run would score, but the Cougars come back to win it 3-2 with a walk-off RBI triple to the second round of the baseball playoffs in 5A. The McCollum Cowboys hosting the Canyon Cougars at the NEISD Sports Park. The Cougars already up 5-0 in the second. When we arrive, they add to that in the fifth with a runner on third. Bryce Garza blasts to the pitch to the gap between center and right field for an RBI single. Next batter, this is Blake Hollingshead. Smokes this one right past the diving shortstop. 7-0 at that point. Let's check the final now. Canyon wins 11-0 in 5 innings. The 2022 UIL State Track and Field Meet got underway today at the Myers Stadium in Austin, and our Andrew Seeley is there to see who's bringing home the gold.
What a way to start the evening session on the track. Universal City Randolph freshman Taylor Nunez leads the pack in the Class 3A girls 100-meter dash. She wins it comfortably in 11.59 seconds. That's a new state record. Her teammate Brianna St. Louis was third in 11.98. Nunez just kept on rolling in the 200-meter dash, torching the field in 24.06 seconds. Add a gold medal performance in the long jump and a brilliant anchor in the 4x100-meter relay that struck gold alongside teammates St. Louis, Kai Rogers, and Jordan Cathro. And Nunez ends her first state championships with 4 state titles and a silver medal.
It just makes me want to go even harder. This has definitely made me even more humble because I know there's people coming to take my spot, and I definitely won't let that happen. So I'm just going to keep pushing every single day.
The final field event of the Class 4A session was the girls' pole vault, and Comal Canyon Lake junior Alencia Lentz made history, clearing the bar at 13 feet 6 inches, breaking the old state record and capturing a state title in the process.
Honestly, my nerves were way down today. I tried to just stay calm, and I think that helped me a lot in the beginning because I got some first attempts on all the heights, and it helped me get through. Honestly, I don't think it's set into me yet, but I'm really excited about it. Everyone's really excited, so I'm happy.
We'll have a lot more highlights and reaction from the state meet later tonight on our website at KSAT.com, and the state meet will resume tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp with Class 2A and 5A competition. From Mike A. Myers Stadium in Austin, Andrew Seeley, KSAT 12 Sports.
Thank you, Andrew. And that wasn't even close. She got across that bar with room to spare.
That was incredible.
That was awesome.
All right, cool. We'll be right back after this. This is going to amaze you. So Andy Warhol's famous Marilyn Monroe portrait, that one you see right there, broke records this week, selling for $195 million at auction. That makes it the most expensive work by a U.S. artist ever sold at auction and the most expensive 20th century artwork. Proceeds from that sale are going to go toward health and educational programs for kids. But that is just incredible. $195 million. Geez. What do you tell people when they come over? It's the original. All right. Well, that does it for the Night Beat. Don't forget that Good Morning San Antonio starts at 4:30. Have a wonderful night. Stay cool. We'll see you tomorrow.